Hi guys, welcome back to this introduction to 3ds Max 2023 episode 3 or lesson 3. If you haven't seen the first two lessons, go and check them out, or if you're just interested in the modeling part, stay with this one. And I hope you guys are all doing well today. So we're all motivated, happy to go and ready. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to show you 3 ways you can model this facade. So I'm going to go to front view, and let's just take, for example, this facade over here. So the first thing you need to do is you have to make sure that your snaps are on. So you have 2.5 snaps. And the first method is we're going to just draw a rectangle over here and another rectangle on top of that one. Okay, so we have that modeled like that. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to right click editable spline, select the spline, attach. Okay, so now those are one object, and we're going to click extrude. That extrudes to 300 in this case, but you can adjust it depending on your plan. So this is one way of modeling the facade. So you do the same thing for each window, and that's option 1. Next option that you could do is essentially take a plane, draw a plane on top of that. Let's click F4 to view the segments, and you could convert this to editable poly, select polygon, delete the polygon, and you have your window, and then you adjust to fit. I've seen some people modeling this way, but I don't think that that's the best way, especially if you need to edit later. And what you'll do with this, if you can either add a shell modifier on top of that, which is over here, and then you add the same as the previous one, 300, and you get the same result. But as you can see, this one is a lot cleaner. So that is option 2. You can either add a shell modifier or you can extrude that as well. And then there's a third option that you can also model in. Go back to F for front view, zoom out, and we are going to create a box, a height of 300, that is the depth, and another box on top of that with a depth that's deeper, and we are essentially going to cut it out like a cookie cutter. So we are going to select this one, we're going to go here, and we are going to go to compound objects, pro boolean, make sure that it's on subtraction, and we are going to go to start picking, and you're going to select this object, and that's going to cut out the window for you. So this is pretty cool when you have complex objects. So if I just show you, go to front view, and this is just for demonstration purposes. We're just going to copy this, make sure it's copy, and then go like 14 like that, and we're going to attach all of them. So let's go to editable poly, going to go to, yeah, and then we're going to come down to attach. Just going to attach all of these. Okay, and now what we are going to do is we're going to take a object that is a little bit more complex. So let's say let's go make a box. Okay, do this, add some segments onto here because we're going to put a twist modifier on this thing. Okay, and we are going to go to look for T for twist. Okay, and we're going to just have a look like this. Okay, and I'm just going to scale this thing down. Usually they don't scale, but this is just for demonstration purposes. And we have this over here. Something like that. Yeah, looks pretty cool. And we're going to go through the same process of just going to compound objects, pro boolean, make sure that it's on subtraction, start picking, and we're going to pick this one. Now got some pretty cool stuff on the inside there. So if you could imagine, that could be like the atrium of a tower or something. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Okay, so those are like the three main ways of modeling this. You can also just create boxes and boxes on top of boxes, and there's also plane modeling and box poly modeling, but those are more for character modeling and that kind of stuff. So we are going to be using this first option, which is the most simple and the easiest to edit in the future. Okay, so we're going to delete that. We're going to go out of isolation mode, delete this one. And so how are we going to start? What should we build first? Well, usually I build from the bottom up. So we're going to start with the pool area. Okay, so we're going to select the DWG floor 01, which is the ground floor. It should actually be named to floor 00, but that doesn't matter for the moment. And here we go. We're going to isolate and T for top view. And we're going to select the rectangle. I think we're going to actually start with a line. Okay, so here we go. Just one thing that you need to notice, sometimes when you import plans, you get these additional lines. So this came in because it was a dotted line, and this is the first floor on top of the ground floor. So we can select that segment and delete it. Usually when you get your plans from architects, they will give you a PDF with it so you can actually see which ones are dotted lines and which ones are solid lines. But I know that these are not part of this plan, so I'm going to just delete them so it doesn't confuse you. I think these two as well, yeah. Okay, and yeah, that one. All right, yeah, that's looking good. So here we go. Going to start with line. We're going to start drawing the grass area. So if we have a look at our reference, I think it's over here. So yeah, this grass area is the first thing that we're going to be doing. So it's all here and it goes around, and then we're going to start with the more mineral areas, which are the concrete. Okay, so we are going to start with here. We are going to make sure our snaps are on. Press S as a shortcut and off we go. Start again. There we go. And we can go all the way because there's going to be plants there anyway. So just go here. And once you get there, you press I to middle your screen out. Come down to here. To here. Yeah, yeah. Okay, and that's pavement over there. All right, so we've got our first shape. We're going to hit extrude. But now we notice that we don't see the actual pool. So we're going to do exactly what we did before, and we're going to draw on top of that, and we are going to attach. So here we go to rectangle, F3, and we are going to draw this rectangle on top there. Going to come here, and select that one. We're going to just isolate that. Go to line, spline, attach. Just make sure that it's level with the other one, and you attach it and you extrude. All right, so we've got our first element. There we go. Just going to go back to our plan. This one, isolate, top view. Okay, that looks good. Now we are just going to rename that to grass. And we are going to model the pool. Again, rectangle. Two times. And we're going to select both of those and that one. And we're just going to move it up so it's a little bit easier to understand. And convert to editable spline again. And we are going to attach, and this time we are going to extrude it in a negative value minus. I'm going to give this pool a depth of about 2 meters, which seems okay. Go to front view, F3, wire view, zoom out, Y down, and there we have the depth of our pool. Now I'm going to create a floor for this pool that is a sloping floor. So going to go to standard primitives box. In this case, create a box. We definitely don't need all these segments, so I'm just going to reduce the segments to 1. Going to go to F to front view. I'm going to convert this to editable poly. That way we can adjust the vertex. Okay, F3, Y-line view, move this down to 0. Move this down to 0 over here. So this pool from the top, I'm going to move it down by right-clicking over here. We can add a value of how much we want it to go down. So we're going to go to the Y, and we're going to go down. This pool is going to start at 1 meter. Okay, and we're going to take this one, and we're going to move it down to, let's say, let's go to actually minus, oops, we didn't go to the top, from the top, there we go. So go minus 1.9 meters, so we have like 100 mil over there. Okay, so that's looking pretty cool. Go on top here, and the only thing that you need to do for water is essentially just add a plane on top. And then later on we'll add a displacement on top of that inside of the material. But for the moment we're just modeling, so we are just going to add a plane. Draw the plane. Rename this to water. Maybe give it a color, light blue. The pool can be a gray color. Say for instance this one, you can rename this object to pool. Okay. This I'm just going to add a little bit of transparency to that on a basic material. That over there, and we're going to just up the transparency so we can understand that it's a pool. This one we can also give it a gray color and call it pool floor. All right, so that's looking pretty good. And now we're going to start with the pavement, or the terrace area, some people might call it. Okay, here we go. Same procedure. close spline. Just need to move this one over here. There we go. Okay, yes, so we will be extruding that one. And that's looking good. It doesn't really matter how much this extrudes down as long as it aligns with the grass at the top, which it doesn't at the moment. So we need to move it up 300. Oops. It's not 300. So we just go into front view and you select a corner and you move it down and it snaps to the correct spot. Okay, so we've got that. Everything's looking good. Now we're going to check our reference image again, and we are going to start by modeling these ground floor walls. Okay, so well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw this floor over here, the concrete slab that this stands on. And we're going to find this corner over here. And we're going to come to over here. This one to align with the floor, with the walls. Okay, this part you're not going to see. So one thing you need to understand when you're modeling these kinds of buildings and the architect says, okay, this is the point of view that I would like, you model only what you see. So if the point of view is from around here, you are only going to model this part of the building and the internals because you see that kind of stuff. But all the stuff on the other side, you're not going to worry about. But today we're modeling everything. So, okay, so we're going to snap it to here. And just go up to the top and click yes. Okay, so now we're going to click extrude. We'll give this -300 front view, and we are going to snap it down to the same level as all the other ones. All right, so we can call this slab 0, okay. All right, so we've got that top view again, F3, and we're going to start modeling the walls, and then we are going to model the windows. So first thing we need to do is we need to find out how high these walls are. So we're going to go to the front view, we're going to go out of isolation view, and we are going to check how high the floor to ceiling is over here. So I'm going to measure it by using a rectangle. There is actually a measuring tool that you can use, which is tape. If you need to measure something, just click and drag. And so this shows you that it's 2.75 in length. Or say if you wanted to measure this over here, which is 980, but I usually just go and create a rectangle and for instance just do that, and then this shows you the both dimensions of something. Okay, so now we are going to come back and we are going to find out how high these walls are. So from this outside part that comes out to the ground floor, we're going to measure that, and that shows us a height of, so we'll look here, 2 meters, 2.62 meters. Okay, afterwards when you model the interior, you need to just verify that certain ceilings are not lower than others. Okay, but to start we are just going to take the base of 2.62 meters. Okay, so now we're going to go back to this plan, isolate it, top view, and I'm just going to check in this facade from the right hand side if we can't model it in facade view. It might be easier than modeling it from the plan view. So I'm going to select this facade and the plan, and we are going to have a look, and it does seem to be easier just to model from this side. Then we can cut out the windows and it's quicker. Okay, so we're going to click on front view. Okay, and we're just going to model this part over here. So again with the spline, click I, close, and we extrude. This time we need to go to the plan and we need to actually have a look at what the depth of the wall is. So we are going to take this and we're going to move it up to here. And I'm just going to measure with the rectangle tool how deep this wall is. So it looks like it is 150. Okay, so what we're going to do is select this, just change the name to wall, and give it a depth of 150. Now we're going to move this down over here, and it aligns perfectly, and we have our exterior wall. Most of the exterior walls, it's better to model from the facades, and then you can just add the interior walls from the plans, and that's exactly what we're going to do now. Because usually these exterior walls have a different material on them and the interior walls have a smooth white material. So it's better to have two different objects. That makes your modeling easier and it's quicker to apply the materials later on. Now we just need to be careful not to continue over here because this is part of the exterior wall. So we are going to just come down to here, and then we are going to go back this way. I'm going to go just to the point of where the frame meets the wall. Okay. Then we go there and we'll hit extrude. And if we remember correctly, the height of the interior walls was 2620. Okay, there we go. Then you can just rename this to interior wall 01. Okay, that's looking good. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to continue this exterior wall here and close it off at the back as well. Now we don't need to do it in the facade view because we already know the height of it. Okay, so let's go over here. Let's go to editable spline, vertex, align it with the frame. And we are going to extrude that. It should extrude to the exact same height. It didn't remember. Sometimes it remembers 2620. Okay, that's good. Give these ones the same color because later on we are going to be using those for the same material. This one can also be, say, a different color like this. Okay. I see that this is a little bit higher than 262, so I'm just going to double check that. Yeah. This is... okay. What we'll do is we'll just edit poly this and move it up a little bit more. There we go. Now we'll go to top view. And we're just going to copy that one and adjust it to fit. There we go. Okay, nice. So that's looking pretty cool. Next thing we're going to do is we're just going to add, I think, let me just have a look here. Yeah, why not? We're going to add these two windows over here. So we're going to go to rectangle. Okay, that is the basis of that. We're going to go edit spline, attach, okay, and extrude. Now, in the plan view, we need to just double check what the thickness of this frame is, and it doesn't actually show what it is, but it looks like full depth of the window, of the wall, sorry. Okay, so we're going to, you know what, I think it's going to be this depth over here, and then this is just an outer frame, and it's not very clear in these plans, so we're just going to have a look again here. Yeah, what you'll notice sometimes is basically that there isn't enough detail in some of these plans and stuff. So for certain things like this, you'd have to go back to your architect and ask him what is the exact detail for this, because this and this don't really seem to match up very well. So I'm going to keep it the way it is for the moment, as this is the outer frame, and then on top of that we are going to add in another door, because I think that's what it is. Just going to move that down to there, so that is one frame, and then on the inside we're going to have another box over here, which is going to be probably the solid box. Go to top view, and this is going to be over here, and it looks like something around 50 or 40. Okay, that looks about right. And then you can just add one more in the top, which I'm imagining probably is going to be a piece of glass at the top there. So all you need to do is just go here, extrude the glass. Usually we just put 10 mil, and you can either go edit poly over there, or you can add a editable spline on top of this one, and you just adjust this to fit. Okay, extrude that, go to top view again, and just put that in the middle somewhere. Okay, so this and this would probably be some type of a metal if we have a look at our reference images. Yeah, this was a black metal, and then there was a transparent piece of glass on top. So we're going to give this a red, and this one will be a light blue. That looks like correct thing. And then all you need to do is copy the same door over. You can instance it because it's exactly the same thing. Okay, cool. So we have this first part of the building completed. Now what we are going to do is we're going to create these glass panels over here. I want to basically model each part that's different, and so you can see how I model that, and then the other parts will just speed up the video if it's exactly the same thing, because I don't want you to sit and watch something over and over that's the same thing and you're not learning anything new. So I'm just going to model the pieces that are individual pieces, and then we'll speed it up and you can just watch a sped up version of this video. Okay, so now I'm going to build these sliding doors over here. So we are going to go to select the plan and the front one over here. So this is the wall that we just built now, and we can see that these frames have a large frame around them, and then they have smaller ones on the inside that are sliding doors. Okay, so we're going to draw that over there, and then from there to here, going to attach that. And we're going to move it into place. Now, depending on what your point of view is, you will model your frames depending on that. So how much detail you add into your frames is dependent on what you're going to see. So if our point of view is from here, we're not really going to see all that detail in the frames. So we are only going to build the basic shapes and the glass on the inside. But if you do have a view that's very close to the frame, for example, you might want to model both pieces of glass that are in the frame, plus the silicon joints and the silver part that's in the middle of the frame. So if we just go and have a look at frame detail, we go to, let's just add window frame detail, and we scroll down to here, for example. So over here you can see there's a silicon joint, then there's a silver part in between the glass. This one's probably better, a little bit. These are not very good examples, but yeah, here we go. So you have your frame, you have your silver part on the inside, you have your actual glass, and in reality there's a silicon joint over there. So you would model all of that stuff. But in our case, because our point of view is not very close, we do not need to model that stuff. And most of the time you do not need to model that stuff for exterior views, but just depends. Okay, so we have our outer piece. Now we are going to model the inner piece. So we're going to go here. Usually frames are between 50 and 75 mil. Just depends on the building, but for residential, maybe this one a bit less because it's a sliding door, so that's probably about 30. Is it 40? 35? Oh my goodness, this is a bizarre size. Yeah, so it's 37.5. Okay, and then just before that, I think they might all be the same size, so I'm going to add the glass inside and then we're going to copy them. Okay, right view, rectangle, take this, let's go to extrude, add the 10 over here, go to top view, I'm going to move this in over here. Just align it with the front so it's in the correct spot. And we're going to instance that, and we're going to just check if this is exactly the same size. Hopefully it is, and it is. So we can just copy these along. But you always need to check, because I've had many instances where there's windows that are all different sizes, which is incorrect because no one's going to be buying frames that are all different sizes because it will cost too much. So I usually give my frames a red color. Okay, and the windows a light blue color. All right, that's looking good. And this one also a red color. Okay, so there's our window. Then later on you'll be doing materials, adding materials on top of that, but that's for the next lesson. So we have that part. Now let's have a look what else we have over here. Okay, so next thing we would do is we would model these windows over here. It's exactly the same procedure. Same procedure for these on the left hand side. And then adding the walls, same procedure as we did over there. So I'm going to speed up the video and you guys can just watch along. Okay guys, I think we're gonna stop it over here for the moment. I think everybody gets the idea of how to model this villa. Next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to go to the finished model and we are going to texture the model in the next lesson. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed that, and please, if that helped you, please subscribe and have a good day. See you. Bye.